Welcome. This is a second video where we will be providing you a foundation on how to start on storytelling. The real principle behind the storytelling is to understand as an organization what kind of impact are you creating, and it usually starts by understanding, is your program short term in nature? For example, I'm running series of training for an hour or a couple of hours on the webinar or Zoom? Or is it something training that I do throughout a semester or a quarter long, and I can do pre and post where the skill-based training person can be with your organization for some period of time, or long-term organizations like healthcare organizations where patients can be part of the ecosystems itself. And based on that thing, you have to understand the practicality of what is the really a change that you can deliver. Trying to focus on something that is not achievable by your short duration or midterm duration is actually going to get you into more trouble. So I'm going to give you a very clear steps on how to identify those things so that you can look at your metrics in a more precise way. Identification of the process really goes down to this. It starts with a problem statement, and I'll walk you through a very quick demo on the SoPact GPT, where we'll take any website from Girls Who Code, build a problem statement from there. You can also build problem statement on your own. I'll also give you a precise formula for that, which can be your elevator pitch. This is your starting point for your storytelling already. By having that precise thing, you are now already starting to communicate. And especially when you start working with a partner like SoPact, it also helps you add more trust and transparency to your funders as well. Then build the theory of change and picking the right metrics. The whole idea behind theory of change is to not to do mumbo jumbo of all the different metrics, but focusing on metrics that matters the most. And I'll help you how to pick them. So in that process, what we're going to do is to essentially, you can look at the screen, and this was part of the previous video as well, but I'm going to repeat that. So it starts with the problem statement where you define foundation, elevator pitch, define the theory of change and meaningful metrics. And we'll go over other topics in the future video. So what's formula? Formula here is the problem is a challenge, and you can see this the visual, so it's easier to understand. So you are working on a specific target audience. So in case of Girls Code, you are really talking about girls who are in either high school, or some of them may be in a very area where there can be a lot of exploitation potential. Regardless where that audience, what they are, essentially, you focus on a key problem. What is the cause of it? And what is the impact because of your program? And what is the solution? So in this case, if you are doing training, then the solution is the training, building mobile application, for example. And based on that, you will be ending up building a clear, precise statement. And I'll give you a very powerful GPT that can help you with this process. But ultimately, it's about understanding, let's say, real goal is to lack of gender diversity in the tech industry is a challenge faced by young women. So this is the target stakeholder, young women and non-binary individuals. Because of the limited access to STEM education and role model and mentorship and opportunities. And this results in underrepresentation of in the workforce, gender pay gap, and restriction innovation in potential creates a need for the programs like Girls Code that provide specialized training. So that's how come to this. This is the core problem is trying to change. Solutions obviously is specialized training, mentorship opportunities, career pathway. Challenges are obviously limited STEM education, few role models, and scarce mentorship. And consequences are they are underrepresented in the workforce, gender pay gap, and restricted workforce. And ultimate goal is to really come up with the very important and very effective metrics. Focusing on a number of girls you train doesn't mean anything at all. How many courses they finished doesn't mean anything. Really, ultimately, because of your program, what has been the first thing that they are able to do? And oftentimes, trying to say, oh, many of them got A grade. No, 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 no. Don't start there. Start with something that is most important and basic, which is coding confidence. If you don't improve the confidence, you're not going to be improving average test scores. So you start with this thing and show that because of that, test scores are improving, and also understand that ultimately you may not be able to prove it, quite frankly, but you can track it after a year or two how things are improving altogether. Ultimately, the goal is to make sure you identify key stakeholders, primary stakeholders and secondary stakeholders, and talk about really the key metrics. And the key thing in picking the key metrics is to make sure it's a balance of qualitative and quantitative metrics altogether. So with that, I'm going to jump into the walkthrough where I'll take an example, which is not our client, but it's just for you to see you can work with any organization. So I just took their website, Girls Who Code, and I can go to SoPact GPT here. And obviously, you can design strategy, data, and survey analysis. It's a pretty rich tool, AI-driven tool that helps you start this process. In this case, this organization is using logic models. So I'm going to choose number 3. And you can see some example of a clear theory change state. But fundamentally, first 5 things you do is generate the clear problem statement based on the formula that I gave you. You can do it on manually, or you can have GPT do it for you, or you can modify it once GPT creates. Then second step is to essentially identify the theory change for each activities, metrics, verification, and next steps. So I'm going to say, okay, Kevin, let's start with number 1. And that will say, okay, here's the things I do. And now I will say, give me Girls Code. This is my website, and go and build this thing for me. And there you go. You have a problem, target statement, cause, impact, solutions, and primary stakeholders. You can go talk to your team now, collaborate, and really precisely come up with the statements. And that would be the final steps to it. And then you can continue with this process further and further. So it will essentially give you a list of potential activities. And then most important thing for you is to see, okay, which activities for which you are getting funded and where reporting and storytelling is important. And so let's say there are a series of activities. One could be coding education, mentorship and networking, career exposure. So let's say Gates Foundation is funding coding education for me. I'm going to now define the theory of change for that, which is the input, output, short-term outcomes, intermediate outcomes, long-term outcomes. And then the key thing obviously is going to be, and I'm going to stop here because there's a lot more that you can do with this thing. But as I said in my previous slides, essentially, that identifying key metrics is the most important thing, because that's where the magic starts. And we have a separate video series on this how to design effective survey. And that is really core to asking right and effective questions altogether. But I hope this really makes the clear of the first 3 ask that we do, which is really, again, to summarize it, making sure you have a clear problem statement, theory change, and meaningful metrics. Next, we'll be talking about other things like stakeholders, communication patterns, and stakeholder outcome and causality altogether. So stay tuned. And thank you for your time. I can't thank you enough, and I hope you can go to playlist, which is in the description below, and subscribe to and go through the entire playlist. And please do not forget to like and subscribe this video. Without that, we cannot grow. And please come and talk to us, and we'll really, depending on your personal situation, because we believe everybody's unique. And we are the one who are the capacity builder for you. So whether it's in a data, technology, or framework process, will help you with the process. So see you then next.